Welcome to another Saturday morning nerd out. I am excited for today's show. We're wrapping up the ends of the year. There's not a whole lot of nerdy stuff come out, but we do have, I believe, What If starting in a few days, if not a week. But without further ado, I'm Graveyard, and I'm pleased to always introduce the one and only, the phraziest girl I know, the one and only Fray girl.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes. How are you doing this quote morning?
Right. Just now, not morning for us. I'm doing pretty good, actually. I got some sleep last night, which I needed, and yeah. I went to sleep listening to about the War of the Roses, aka the Cousins War. So
that sounds like the war in the South amongst themselves. She's my cousin. No, she's my cousin too.
Well, it was royalty doing royalty things. So
there you go.
That was about it.
Yes. Hey, Say Wong. It's Fray. It's F-R-A-Y. Say Wong. You should know how to spell it. Come on.
He thinks it's because I'm a Game of Thrones fan, and I am, and I do like the phrase. Don't get me wrong, but it's not for that. So, but he does it all the time. It's okay.
We still love you, Say Wong. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we have something for you guys. We have a great sponsor for today, and that is the one and only Dubby. So whether you're just waking up for a Saturday morning nerd out, staying up late gaming with us, stuck in your Retro Alcove for hours at a time, or just tired from all your Saber fights, our sponsor is just for you. Dubby has no calories, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors. Each serving has 150 milligrams of caffeine, equivalent to 2 cups of coffee. And because it contains Nerfactor, which is derived from the fruit of the coffee bean, it delivers all the energy and focus with none of the jitters. So, to get 10% off and support Dubby and this show, go to www.dubby.gg and use code KCP2023 for 10% off. So thank you, Dubby, for being our sponsor.
Thank you, Dubby.
Yes.
Dubby.gg.
Yes. And, despite all my emails, they have yet to make Phil's favorite flavor, pickle flavored Dubby. I'm still rooting for it.
Followed closely by the potato flavored Dubby.
You guys are going to make me throw up on Tuesday, just so you know. with the just quick self promotion here, make sure to check out Tuesday on the download, because we are having a Distance Nerding holiday party, and I will be on a Tuesday show. I know I've been on more Tuesday shows than James has been on Thursdays.
Oh, James.
Yes.
We're gonna do the Pepperidge Farms eggnog cookies. I think that's what we're gonna do.
And
he wants to drink eggnog with it, but I think that's too much eggnog. So
I mean, I've had 2 sips of eggnog in my entire life, and that's 10 too many.
Husband loves eggnog, so we have eggnog in the house. So I definitely will be drinking some eggnog. I'll get the cookies too. I want to try them. And
I have the cookies.
We figured that Phil went through all the ingredients because the whole coconut thing, and he was like, "It has no coconut oil in it." So
it just has regrets.
It's just regrets.
Yes. But make sure to check that out. It's going to be a blast. But on top of that, we're here to nerd out, and it's another Saturday morning. We have, like I said, interesting things coming up. We have the What Ifs, which we're not doing the game just because it's such a short time frame. It's 9 episodes in 9 days.
Yeah, it's like it'd be like a week, because the way when it comes out to when it we'd have one thing, and then it'd be like, okay, it's just this episode that comes out tonight. So
and it's hard to predict everything that's going to happen, because these are what ifs. These are one-offs. This essentially would be pitching our own ideas for what ifs, and I think that would just be fun to do. Just pitch your own what if episode.
Oh yeah, okay, we could do that. We could do that after the season's over. We could do it like the beginning of the year. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be really neat. I'd love that, because I said we should have a furry Avengers, and then now they have a comic about all of the animals. I'm like, I need to maybe not say so much stuff on the internet because they're stealing my ideas, man.
Well, patent it. I mean, I know you're tight with James Gunn, but you got to get in Kevin's good side too.
Right, I do. Yeah, because I think Kevin might have beef with me. It's because I'm just too, what's the word?
Psychic.
Too much. I'm just too much for him.
All right. Well, joining us and just in time for the first topic for tonight, we have my captain, Captain Lady Moon.
Hey, it's the return of Captain Lady Moon.
Yes.
The return.
Coffee.
Coffee.
I'm having tea this morning.
Just mix some W with it, and then you got all the energy.
Gosh, I wish I had W, man. I want some W. Don't you want some W? That'd be great.
All right.
Serious. I am actually being dead serious. I actually really like W. I would sponsor it all day long. Because it's
you like
really
it? Cool. You like the flavors and stuff?
It. Yeah, and it doesn't get you all weird and jittery. Yeah, it's actually really good. But we're not sponsored or anything by W.
Yeah, I'm just weird without W, so
that's fun.
All right. Well, so let's get into the first topic for today, shall we? I hope everyone's watched it. You know, I'm a big fan of the guy who's hosting this, and Phil is a bigger fan of Vanity Reynolds because we have Discontinued.
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for this. It looks cool.
I did not watch the trailer.
Yeah,
I was up way too late finishing my captain's logs, so not getting this stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, I had like a really bad stomach ache yesterday. I don't know what was going on. It was kind of awful, and then I fell asleep, woke up several hours later, and did not get to sleep till like 5:30 this morning. So hey,
wow.
All right, so Fray, why don't you go what you think of Discontinued from the show?
I think this is a really interesting idea, and I love that Bruce Campbell is hosting it because he's been on some of these like shows that are quirky and people they get a following, but eventually they get canceled. And so I love that he's doing this because there are a lot of good shows out there that were canceled, and I think that had they been given more time, they would have been like bangers. So like Probe, I love the show Probe, and it was canceled after one season, and I was like, I want the show back. So I think it's a really interesting concept. I also think that it's coming out at the perfect time because our society is so nostalgia driven right now. Yeah. And so, having these discontinued shows that you may not have thought about, I think is a cool idea. So, and having Bruce Campbell be the one to do it, you know, he always puts a little cheek in there, and I love that. And so, I think it's great. And Ryan Reynolds is doing it. So, Ryan Reynolds is going to be in it. He'll show up at some point, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes he gets in stuff, and sometimes he doesn't. I don't know.
So for anyone who hasn't watched the premise of it, Bruce Campbell is broadcasting from the year 2037. And let's say he looks fantastic for being 79 there.
Yeah.
In 2037. And he is talking about discontinued things, like say Coke 2, for example, or other TV shows, products, and everything else that has just been discontinued over the years and really are just making a comeback. So for me, I mean, obviously, Bruce Campbell, right? That is my jam all day long. Now, he's hosted other great shows that only lasted a season. He hosted the new Ripley's Believe It or Not for one season, and then COVID happened, and then it went away. And Bruce, I know you're listening, and Ryan, don't still come on this learning, but this reminds me greatly. There has been the movies that made us, the toys that made us as a TV show, right? As documentaries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also on YouTube, there's Defunct Land and Defunct TV. So to me, it just seems, a bigger budget, bigger name version of these things.
Yeah.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's great, and we're just going to keep hitting the nostalgia factor of people our age, a little bit older, for all these things that were discontinued. And it's great idea. Is it going to last forever? Probably not. So will it be a Discontinued 2 on the show Discontinued when it's discontinued? Yes.
Discontinued.
Yeah. So I mean,
And you know who will host it?
who?
Bless
Excuse
you.
me.
Sorry,
guys.
Sam Raimi's brother.
Ted Raimi?
Oh,
Yes.
Ted
Raimi.
Raimi.
Yeah.
I love Ted Raimi.
So I mean, I said I think it's a great idea. What I think the side effect of this is going to be. All right, I'm gonna call it the angry video game nerd effect.
Oh, so wait a minute. We need a side effects include.
Yeah. when people started reviewing all these old games, the prices of these things skyrocketed because it went high. And what I think is going to happen is the side effect of this show is going to be all these people are trying to sell it for $10 for, say, a Talk Boy. It's now just skyrocket in price.
Yeah.
And that seems to happen a lot.
I could see that.
So I mean, I think that's gonna be the side effect of it. Is so all of a sudden everyone's gonna be going through their old collections in their parents' attics and selling all this stuff for stupid amounts of money because newer generations are gonna learn about this stuff and want to collect it. That's my thought.
I think that's great. I love stuff like that. I love, I'm a nostalgia queen. So
well, I mean, when you're immortal, everything's nostalgia for you, right?
That is true.
So, Captain, what do you think of it? Just hearing about it, what are your thoughts on this show? Do you think it'll do good? Do you think it'll last a season? What do you think?
I think it'll probably either, I don't know. It depends on like where it's being where the program is going to be running. Because if it's on TV, it's not going to last more than a season.
It's on
something like streaming, like
Bobo
Netflix.
or Fubu, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, if it's on a streaming service, it'll probably last longer.
It's on a streaming service.
Yeah. That's my it'll probably last longer. I mean, it might. I don't know if it's going to reach the craze of angry video game nerd, but it might get. It might. I mean, it depends on how well, because we have things like where it's like, oh, this is the 80s or the 90s,
right?
Sort of things, and I don't think a lot of people pay them much mind. So we will just have to see if it works or if it's lightning in a bottle or not. Honestly.
So to your point, do you think this is like I love the 80s and I love the 90s from the VHS from like 20 years ago, but a newer version as well?
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes and how creative it can be. I do too.
I love nostalgia.
Yes.
And you apparently also love Say Wong too.
Did I say I love you, Say Wong?
You said I love Say Wong.
Oh, I meant to say hi, Say Wong. This is what happens.
That's what it says right here. It says I love Say Wong.
This is what happens when I'm watching my dogs be like ridiculous and trying to type and listen to you guys at the same time.
I think you're trying to say I love you, Captain, and hi, Say Wong, and it just went to I love Say Wong.
Well, no, I was trying to say I love nostalgia and Say Wong.
I was maybe that other part was just a little hopeful. Anyways,
no, I love the Captain. Captain forever.
Well, I mean, if we're on the nostalgia train, we gotta talk about the ultimate nostalgia show, right?
Which is
Stranger
Things. It is kind of a nostalgic show. It's true.
I haven't watched it since season 1.
Oh my gosh! In season 2, they have actually like one of the best moments in like new TV history. It's freaking amazing. I think it's season 2. Season 2 or season 3.
I watched season 1 and I was like, I grew up with all this. It was before I like had really like embraced my nostalgia era. Come on. So now I've decided that I want to wait until it's completely over and then I'm just going to binge the whole thing. So yeah, I'll just do that. I liked season 1. It was just I was just like, I've seen this. I've lived this. I don't need, besides the monsters, but yeah, so I was just like, maybe I don't need to like watch this more and more. And to be honest, like Millie Bobby Brown kind of annoyed me back then.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right. And all I wanted to eat was those stupid waffles. The Eggos. I was like, I need Eggos. And I hate them. They taste like nothing.
You want to know a funny thing? Millie Bobby Brown actually hates them. She absolutely
makes me like her more.
She,
I loved
on
her
set. Like she had to pretend to love them, and she every time they cut, she's like, "Get these things away from me."
So, if you guys are Ted Lasso fans, the boss on that, Rebecca, the cookies that she eats, she hated them. So they would make it to where you would see that she just ate them, or that she was opening the box and then they cut to something else, so she wouldn't have to eat them as much. She hated them. So I totally get that. But yeah, no, I like Millie Bobby Brown and Enola Holmes and like other stuff I've seen her in, but I was just like, it's a special child who may or may not die if they use their powers. How very fire starter of them.
Well, I mean, it is very Stephen King. The entire show is a love letter to Stephen King.
There is some heavy influence of Stephen King in there.
Yes. So Captain, are you caught up on Stranger Things? Are you excited for season 5?
So I got halfway through season 5, and I got to a certain point, and I was like, I can't watch this alone. It's going to be too much for me. So I'm waiting for someone to watch it with me, the rest of it. And I'm not trying to. I don't want to spoil it for Fray Girl if she's gonna watch it, but there's an incident that happens in Stranger Things. Graveyard, I think you know the incident.
You can say it. I mean, I'll still watch it. It doesn't matter. So
involving Max. So there's an incident that involves one of the newer kids, Max. I think
is she the redhead?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sadie Sink. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I just was like, I can't. I knew it was gonna happen. I'm like, I can't watch this alone. I'm not gonna. I don't. Are
you talking when she like goes all like Dark Phoenix and at the graveyard, or are you talking about like when she dies? Wait, does she die in that one? I know. Like Eddie goes to hell.
I was told she dies, and I was like, I cannot. I was spoiled for me. I was like, I can't watch this. I can't do it.
I know all the big brushstrokes because people tell me, so it's not like,
I mean, I don't know if she does or not. There's rumors, but I was like, I can't.
Oh,
I can't watch it.
Hey, so the beard up there said no. He's shaking his head no. Although he is really into horror, so he could be the werewolf.
Exactly. But
werewolves can't be trusted.
Yeah.
No.
So I mean, now
that I've chased everybody away.
So I mean, this is the last season of this series. Now they're talking about doing spin-offs and stuff like that, right?
Millie Bobby Brown does not want to do it anymore, though. I think she's done after this last one.
That's fine. She's one of those people that goes, I've never seen Star Wars. I'm so cultured. So I've
never seen Star Wars, but yet I want to play Leia.
Yeah.
Like she wants to do she wants to actually play Leia. So
yes. So to me, honestly, a couple of those kids in real life, they're annoying as hell. They are pompous. They think they're the greatest thing ever. And I think after Stranger Things is done, we'll never see them again. So
a few of them, yeah.
Not Wolf. Wolf's doing the work.
Well, he could stop doing the work. He can just fade away. Because
what's his name?
Finn is Finn the one that's in
Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbusters? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that kid.
Yeah.
I did not like him. He seems like a pompous ass in real life.
Oh, well,
I've not seen a lot of things with him, but I mean, teenage years can be hard, but I haven't seen him a lot.
So, I mean, I'm excited for this. The last season, I think it started in 80. It started in 83 in Hawkins, Indiana, does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think last season they missed the boat on it taking place in Russia in 1986. There's something happened in 1986 that would be a government cover-up called Chernobyl, which would have been easily fit into this story. And they
they kind of hinted at it.
They hinted at it, but it was never.
They hinted at it that was what was that's what happened in Russia, though, with the with the
So-
rip in reality.
Yeah, and I think the only interesting thing is with the whole theories that are out there is that Vecna was given the name because Vecna is in D&D.
Mm-hmm.
And, being kind of the vampire. And the theory that a lot of people are saying is that Eddie will be Vecna's right-hand man.
Eddie.
So
Wait, what? Eddie's going to
Yeah.
be Vecna's. Wait, Vecna didn't die. Now I do have to watch the end now.
yes.
So I don't know what happens to Eddie because Eddie comes on to Stranger Things 5th season, and immediately everyone just freaking
Yes.
goes nuts because this kid is so good.
Yeah.
This actor, I don't know, magnetism and whatnot, but he's such a cool person. You're just like, I
Joseph
want to be
Quinn.
your friend.
Yes. So
He was
yeah.
on Game of Thrones, and he played Helen Mirren's son in Catherine the Great as well.
But yeah, I think the tie into D&D is exactly right because the show starts off with them playing D&D,
Yes.
right? And
Mhm.
I think prediction wise is they're gonna piss everyone off. It'll all be a D&D campaign. The entire thing.
Homebrew,
I mean, that's fine.
an 80s homebrew.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So that's my
That'd be
prediction.
great.
Wait, you think that it'll just be all in their heads?
Yeah.
Like 11's actually doesn't exist?
Oh, she exists, but it's just a
She's
D&D
just-
campaign.
yeah,
She
she's
is
just a
playing a
friend.
character.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
She's just a new friend that they friended in town. You know, that's actually a pretty popular theory. A lot of people have
It
been
is.
saying that's what's going to happen.
Yes.
And you know what?
That,
I think
know,
that it would make me want to
everyone
watch
is-
it more.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'll
that's
piss
kinda
everyone off.
interesting.
And I'm for
Yeah,
it.
if it's not real, it's like, wait, what? Like all of the different incidences, it's just a D&D campaign?
And like
Screw
all
you
the
guys.
parents
That's
are
fine.
NPC characters. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. That would be a great thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
that would be a Ralph Boner moment for some people.
Oh, it'll be a Bob Newhart moment where everything was a dream.
I loved that. You
Not that
stop it
everything's
with
a
Mr.
dream,
Bob
quote.
Newhart.
So,
No, not that that's that trope. No, please make it stop.
but it's the 80s trope, and this is an 80s show.
That was
That's
really
fair.
funny though.
Fair.
That they got Suzanne Plachette to come back. And she's like, what? And he's like, I just had the weirdest dream. Go back to bed, Bob. It's like, I watched both shows, so I totally understood the reference. So that was.
I didn't, but that's fine because I didn't have television growing up and I'm uncultured swine. Anyways, yeah,
But-
Stranger Things is great.
Speaking of strange things, and I'm a hot take. Speaking of annoying people, Timothy Chalamet,
Hey.
Hey,
because he's also like, I've never seen Star Wars. I'll never be in a Marvel movie. I'm too good for that. Then he makes Wonka. So
Look, he's trying really hard to be
come on, he's
Johnny
trying to be
Depp.
Willy Wonka. Yeah,
Tom Holland
yep.
and a little bit of slapdash Korean boy band BTS thrown in there. That's what he's trying to be.
And Gene
Leave
Wilder.
the boy
Let's not forget
alone.
Gene Wilder.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I think
yeah, he can
I think
never
he's
be
got a
Gene Wilder.
combo of Gene Wilder, Johnny Depp, but he definitely, I just feel like he's got that. He definitely doesn't want to go the Leto route. But yeah, I'm like, I think he's adorable.
But-
and goofy.
Of course.
He's goofy as all
But-
get out. I was going to
but-
curse. I didn't.
Paul
Welcome.
Trade. So, Dune 2, new trailer. Fray, what do you think? Are you more excited, less excited, equally as excited?
Right.
Let me tell you a little story. It's a little one, I promise. So the trailer came out
Mhm.
on Tuesday,
Yes.
and Husby was working, and I was like, "You have to come in here. I need 5 minutes." And he was like, "What?" And I just started the trailer, and we watched the whole thing. And after it was over, he was like, "March 1st. Oh, well, we'll be there on February 29th to see it.
Ah,
So
that's funny.
I'm
actually.
pretty sure we're gonna go see it. It looks really good. I audiobooked Dune, the first Dune.
Mhm.
And then of
Mhm.
course, afterwards, Shadu goes, oh, well, I've got it. I could have just brought it to you. You could have read it. And I was like, you've had it for a year and you still haven't finished it. So, and I don't know where it is. So I was like, I would have read it while you were gone and you would never know. But I actually finished it. So now I kind of understand what's going to happen in the second part of the second movie, second part of the book. And
second
like there's
part of the trilogy now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm really excited to see it. I mean, I know they're going to be changing a few things because Irulan, as far as she's not in the first book at all. I mean, she's the narrator, but she's not in actually in the book. And so I'm excited to see like how they bring her and Christopher Walken's characters in it, since they're not really in the first book. And then like the whole Phaedratha thing, I think it's going to be really cool. So yeah, so I'm excited about it. The trailer looks really good, and the way that they bring back Gurney, and it's like, oh my god, it's Gurney! Ah! And that was so great. And Lady Jessica looks like and I'm going to say a bad word, everyone, badass bitch.
She's a bab.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Is that a bad word?
She's a badass bitch.
I know that's just a Tuesday for me. So hey.
So, Captain, did you watch the Dune trailer?
Heck no, I didn't watch the trailer. I'm cultured, no. No, I didn't. I've been working on New Order stuff. I've been doing a bunch of other things. Sorry. I am like working like 5 days a week, y'all. 6 days a week.
But you're a Dune fan though, right?
Of the books.
Of the books.
Have you seen the first Denis Villeneuve?
No, I've seen David Lynch's Dune. That's it. That's all I've seen, guys.
Oh
yeah.
I'm slowly working my way through all the movies that we've talked about throughout the year. What year is it? No, not anymore. Anyway, no. In all honesty, though, like it's more nakedness with Baron. No, it does not. No. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list of things to watch. More nakedness, not less. No, Sewag, no. You want to see more than Baron Harkonnen, but no. Anyway, no, I haven't seen it. I've just read all the books, so I'll be excited to do that. I'll have to do a review of that, and maybe for funsies, I'll do Battlefield Earth too, because I have that book. And spoilers, it's not a good book. Anyway, it's not good. But I have it. I have the book, and maybe I'll watch the show. Anyways,
yeah.
The actor agrees with me. Oh, Sewag.
So,
in any case.
So, I mean, for me, I'm in the same boat as Captain. I've only watched the David Lynch one because, first off, that's the Captain. It's a damn fine cup of coffee. He is my Atreides.
I mean, it is he drinks Earl Grey's, but yes.
Yeah. So, it's kind of one of those things that is, like I said, Timothée Chalamet rubbed me the wrong way, and I cannot get behind someone that is too good for a franchise or a universe.
I think he'll be in the MCU at some point. I think he's young and he says a lot of stuff, and he's going to eat his words at some point because I mean it's just the way that it goes. Yeah. So I hardly ever think about that. I think, well, okay, this kid, he's just French. He's French, and he's got this way about him, and he's odd, and he's just saying a lot of things, and he's just young. That's the way I think about it.
Probably how I'm going to watch the first Dune before Dune 2. I am going to watch it. Trust me. it is something. I have the first 6 books, the only books of the Dune series are the first 6 by Herbert himself.
Wait a
So
second. Wait, hold
Frankie
on.
boy,
You
Frankie
actually
boy.
have Card House of Dune?
I have the first 6 books. I don't have anything that Sun did after that. It's the only ones we acknowledge. But
Dune,
Messiah, yeah,
Messiah,
yep.
Children of Dune,
Mhm.
and God Emperor Dune. Isn't Card House the Card House is the 5th one?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could not get past Card House, and Card House was written by it was partially written by him, but it was mostly written by the son.
Yeah.
I don't know about this one. Anyway.
But I will watch Dune because a little show, a little group of people called Riff Tracks did a Riff Tracks version of Dune. And when it's a movie I don't necessarily care about, I will watch the Riff Tracks version. That's how I watched Batman v Superman. And they had to tag team it because it was so awful and so long. So yeah, I mean,
you mean Dawn of Wonder Woman?
People that did Mystery Science Theater 3000, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's the new show, is Riff Tracks.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, am I excited for Dune? Not necessarily. It's as being a big sci-fi nerd as well as horror. Am I excited? No, not really. But I will give it a chance. It looks good. I mean, I understand. Obviously, this was the Star Wars before Star Wars, which unfortunately came out after Star Wars. I think just because they said, you know what, Star Wars can do it, George Lucas can do it. We can
actually. So there is a movie that is about. It's called. Now I can't think of what the guy's name is. I want to say it's Alejandro, but I don't think that's what his name is. But it's his Dune, and it's actually about the making of the movie that never was before Star Wars, and actually were like propagated things like Star Wars.
Oh, that's cool.
It actually is really cool. It's quite amazing to watch, and I think that's actually what brought back people wanting to make Dune was that movie. I think that's why they made Dune now. No, honesty is because they brought that back with I want to say Alessandro. It's something like that. It's called Alessandro's Dune. And it's like the movie that never was. And they originally like they had like all of these people signed.
I know it's Aronofsky, Darren Aronofsky.
No, it's not Aronofsky. It's because Aronofsky is a newer director.
Yes.
Oh, but it's something like that. I know what you're talking about, and yeah.
Right now, I don't have enough sleep in me for me to remember the name, the guy's name, but he did like the Holy Mountain. Like he did a bunch of like very weird movies, but apparently they did so well though. Like they're like, we'll give you anything you want to make. He's like, I want to make Dune.
Oh, it's.
Is it Gore Verbinski?
Godorowski's Dune.
Jodorowsky. Is it Jodorowsky?
Yeah.
Jodorowsky. Jodorowsky's Dune. Yes, that's what it was. Jodorowsky.
But
fantastic movie, by the way. Fantastic. They had gotten what's his name? They had signed on Orson Scott Card. Gosh dang it, Briggs, stop this. Stop this madness. They had gotten Orson Welles.
Mm-hmm.
They had gotten what's his name, the painter, to play the Emperor, and he was gonna do it for like 80 million, something like that. It was insane. Like everything was like so. Jodorowsky even like he had Mobius to do the artwork. And all of those little bits and pieces that were coming together to make Dune actually became projects for other movies, including Star Wars. So it's just such an interesting way that how it made this ripple effect, and then now we've got Dune doing it again. Sort of. I mean, I think Jodorowsky's when that came out, we were like, "Hey, I think we could do Dune now, actually," because they took on that whole idea of like, so Jodorowsky had his own son was going to play Paul Atreides. So we had him trained for years. Like it started at like 7 or 8 years old. He knew it was going to take a while for this movie to be made, so that he could be the right age when the movie started filming.
Oh my gosh! He might have been a little too obsessed.
He was
with
this
movie.
obsessed.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and it just ballooned to the point where it fell apart. But it's such an
It'd be like
interesting
Fellini
documentary.
doing it.
They had Queen. They had like these different like themes for each of the
Houses?
different empires, different houses.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
they had,
yeah.
like Queen was going to do one of the houses. They had like they had Van Halen for another part. Yeah, it was really interesting. This
Oh, they
the
were
whole
gonna make
movie
it
was
like a
amazing.
rock opera almost.
Yeah, kind of.
At least in Lynch's, we got Sting. So, you know.
Yeah,
Sting in the Speedo.
Yeah.
that was yes.
So. All right.
He was a good choice. He was a good choice for that.
For Fade Rotha.
Yes.
Don't touch the hair. Don't touch the hair.
All right. Well, let's move on to something that happened. Very controversial. I know Say Wong has a lot of opinions of, you know, what happened this week of the Video Game Awards.
Oh, I didn't even watch the Video Game Awards.
I'm hoping you would break it down because I know who like was nominated for Game of the Year. And I know that like people were saying it was going to be a certain game or maybe another game. And I said it was going to be a third game. And I need to know if I was right. I don't remember.
You don't remember what you said?
I don't remember. It was one. Oh, it was Mario. Mario Wonder is what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Did it win?
No.
Damn it.
I believe Game of the Year was Baldur's Gate 3.
Fair. That's a fair. You know what? That's a fair.
Yeah. You know what?
I'm not mad at
long
this.
enough, and everybody loves Baldur's Gate, and it gets the
there's
video
like a
games
subreddit
and the
all
D&D.
about Baldur's Gate.
Yeah,
And
So-
actually, it's really good. It's a really good game. I've been playing it. It's really good.
So I mean,
have you? Because I like, Liam hasn't gotten it yet, but he's like wants to get it because he loves D&D, and
you
so
know
that's
what?
why
On Queen's site, we'll start a campaign about that.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
So I'll give a quick rundown here. So Game of the Year winner was Baldur's Gate 3. Nominees
Baldur's Gate 3
were Alan Wake 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Tears of the Kingdom, and Mario Wonder. So it was the year of sequels and remakes.
What?
Quite honest.
Mario Wonder. Why not Mario
nostalgia.
RPG the remake?
Because it came out a week before
After?
voting was done.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Next year,
best
that fine.
best game direction was Alan Wake 2 that won. Best narrative was Alan Wake 2. And these are absolutely amazing games. Best art direction, Alan Wake 2. Best music, Final Fantasy 16, which Final Fantasy has always had stellar music.
I was gonna say if something was gonna win,
that's not surprising.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So I mean, best ongoing game was Cyberpunk 2077. Great game.
Duh, Keanu.
Best indie game, Sea of Stars, which we played demos of before.
You guys really liked that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I can actually get that game and we could play Sea of Stars. I just didn't
Oh,
know if you guys were
cool.
playing
Yeah.
it on the beards in the chair.
Yeah. Now, best RPG obviously was Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Up there was Final Fantasy 16, Liza P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield.
Liza P
so
was
a lot of
Liza P. I
stars
could
in
see
this
Liza
one.
P is beautiful, and I mean I was playing that game for a bit, and it's hard, but it's a really pretty game. We will touch on that again on Queen's Night.
Yeah.
But usually I'm playing that one with Anthony, so that's why we call it the Queen's Night, because you know it can't just be ladies' night. We have to have the Queen in there too. So. So I've been playing it with Anthony, and it's so much fun. It is super hard on the computer to play, but I really have been enjoying it so far.
That's cool.
Great. I'm sad Tears of the Kingdom didn't win anything though, because it looked beautiful.
Okay.
For Legend of Zelda. I'm sorry, it's Legend of Zelda game. I can't help it. My
obviously I have every system ever made, right? So I am really console agnostic.
Okay.
Right. So I play except for Xbox, I play everything you played. So I like Nintendo games, don't get me wrong. You know, I grew up playing Nintendo at people's houses. But I had a Genesis growing up. Now, here's the problem, and this is Say Wong's going to be screaming at me as soon as I say this. Nintendo fanboys are Nintendo fanboys. Okay? Because they can go, hey, Tears of Kingdom, fantastic game, right? There's 12 hours of content. That's it. Everything else, they did quantity over quality. You can collect 999 things, which is ridiculous and pointless. Now, and here's where
There's
people
not a point to it. Why is it in the game?
People are going, so you can get a golden piece of poop. That's your reward.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was in Breath of the Wild.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know.
So, and here's where the people always say Nintendo deserves to win all the time. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom took ideas and open world maps that have existed for the past 10 years.
True.
Other people have been doing this entire time on Sony consoles and Xbox consoles. And just because Nintendo finally does it and then puts a Zelda character into it doesn't make it the best, most innovative thing in the world. It's already been in existence.
It's true.
So is it like Minecraft for Zelda?
It's open world means you can go fight Ganon right away.
Oh, okay.
So you don't, and that's the thing, you don't have
it's not
to
linear
play.
Storytelling.
You don't have to play the game. You can just go face Ganon and win.
You can just go and just kind of do your own thing.
Okay, but all right. But Legend of Zelda 64 was already kind of doing that already. Let's be fair here, though. Let's be fair to Legend of Zelda. They started the open world concept because they were the first ones to really do it in Legend of Zelda 64.
Final Fantasy started open world RPGs.
Okay, that's true. I'm just saying, in 64, they were already doing that 3D thing. You didn't have to, you don't exactly have to follow that whole thing. You could still go around and shoot the pose and do other things.
Yeah, but you can't get into certain temples without doing other temples first. So
that's
it's
true.
not open world. It's still linear.
Okay, that's
yeah.
It is still linear storytelling.
Yes. So and that's the thing. Like, you know, people go, "Oh, Mario Wonder, fantastic game." Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the game, but it's just Mario.
Yeah,
I'm just a Mario. Okay,
you know what I mean?
That's only a cultural appropriation I will do during the show.
It's okay. I mean, you know, wow. Only. So I mean, I think you know, video games need to win awards based not just on graphics, not just on you can spend 500 hours to do something when you only need to play for 12 hours. It needs to be an art form. It needs to be character driven and story based driven. If we're going to take these awards, don't steal my culture. I don't know which culture you're talking about there. I don't think either of you are Italian.
That is their friend.
I'm every culture.
So
it's all in me.
But you know, I mean, like
that sounded way too dirty.
But to me, it's just we think everything needs to be Nintendo. Their gimmick is hardware. Their gimmick is not video games.
Yeah,
you know, they need re-awards, a retro re-awards, so that all these games that everybody are now like rediscovering, that they can have awards for those, like best use of 2D in a 8-bit game system or something. Like, I think that would be amazing. Like, you could have like retro awards, and you could do that with anything. You could do that with like TV shows, you could do it with movies, you could do it with best homage of a 1920s movie, like I mean, you could do stuff like that. And then these movies that don't necessarily win like the big like Oscars or Golden Globes, they could win. Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, I was watching a documentary about Cary Grant last night. Speaking of 1920s movies,
is that the one where he's like they show him as Archibald, and then but they tell you like how he actually created Cary Grant and like how he was totally different. I think I've seen that. It's a really good documentary.
It's a really good documentary.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you guys' takes on the video games right now? Keep in mind, this is kind of like the Oscars for video games, and your vote doesn't matter. It is professionals in the field that actually vote the game.
Oh, so those ballots that they sent me didn't mean anything?
No. I mean, you're a professional.
I know. Well, you don't, when you're immortal, you need a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I cannot tell you how many times Steve Jobs harassed me.
Okay, so there are a lot of games out there. I don't know why they don't pick certain ones. Like, and I've been playing a lot of games. I mean, I do think that Baldur's Gate 3 did deserve to win. But there are some that they just don't even put on the list. You're like, how did you miss this one?
Mm-hmm.
This game is amazing. Like, SMNO is a fantastic game, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Really, really good. And I'm like, well, how come that one did not? Like, the music was stellar. The gameplay was great. I'm amazed why that doesn't get on anybody's board. Maybe it was too dark for people. I don't know. Though we have Alan Wake too, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
there are games that get missed every year. Like, I don't think Silent Hill 2, or not Silent Hill 2. Why didn't Silent Hill 2 make the cut either for these awards?
Right.
The remake.
I feel like it's like the Oscars. You know how like there's Oscar season? I feel like there's Game of the Year award season. And like, so that means that some games aren't going to get it. Like if you have, like, I was really afraid because like the Oscars and like the Golden Globes and stuff, they're starting to nominate everybody. And I was afraid Barbie was going to, because Barbie came out in the summer, that Barbie was going to get excluded. And luckily it hasn't, but I think that's because the Oscars, they've changed a lot of stuff. They're like, no, we need to look at the whole year. And, you know, and I think that has helped. Movies. Yeah. And so I'm wondering if the video game awards, if they should start doing stuff like that. Because they try to. I mean, I know they have like, I know Baldur's Gate came out like what, halfway through the season or halfway through the year. And like, the
came out in September, I think.
Yeah, so it's like it came out, but it's like I just wish that they would go through all the games, and just because a game has been out all year doesn't mean it shouldn't be excluded. Like if you know, and I mean, I guess that's what I mean. Like there are so many good games, and everybody is so different on how they play, like what video games they like to play. Like I don't like to play a lot of video games. I love watching others play video games and being involved, but I'm not like, there are so many that I don't play. Like I love Mass Effect and Dragon Age and all that. But like Horizon Zero Dawn, I think is the only game I've ever played on PlayStation, and I adore it. It's gorgeous. Like I mean, I've just adore that game, would play it over and over again if I could, would live there, kinda, not really. And, but I don't really care if they win or not, because I love the game. So it doesn't matter to me if it has awards or not.
Yeah.
But also I like to see it getting recognized. Yeah. So
yeah, it's more recognition for the devs.
I get it. And I love it. But I'm not like that. And I started feeling that way about like the Oscars and the Golden Globes. I like that they get recognized, but I'm like, I love it either way. So it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love seeing them get recognized, but I'm also like, oh, well, you guys aren't as cool as I am.
Gosh, the 2000, I think it was like 2007 or 2006 was the last year I watched the Oscars. Because when Crash won for Best Picture, I was like, I'm done with you, Oscars. I'm done with you.
I like watching the highlights and then like the backstage stuff. Like I watched all the interviews of the people that won last year because of Everything Everywhere All at Once for the Oscars.
Right. And that one, actually, I did watch some stuff for that. That was
they had the cutest stuff. But I don't like, and I'll probably watch like all of the highlights.
I've watched snippets. Yeah, I've watched snippets like with Dr. Horrible Sing Along blog, like when the year that came out. I watched snippets of that because that was actually really good. Like the way that they did the show for that. So but what I was gonna say was this, like, anyways, back to video game awards. I mean, the only reason why we do them really is just so that devs get the recognition and,
Mhm.
and all that. And some of them it's perfectly valid and worthy of it.
Yeah.
And some I'm like,
Or
but
things
like
to dust.
again, like is that going to still change the way that games are that we're going to play games? No.
Yeah.
No. So
By the way,
I
we're playing the last case of Benedict Fox, and it is fantastic.
It's been so fun.
So much fun. It's like got really cool art direction and style,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just it's been so much fun to play. Apparently, Saywan's been doing a kill count, though it really should be a
Yeah, on Thursdays. That's
oh wow.
Yeah.
We did that for Metzel when she was playing Limbo.
Yeah, but it's just Saywan giving me a hard time most of the time because it's not like I'm actually dead when I die because you don't actually die until you get banished, but he like counts out every time.
every time.
I lose like a little like bit of my life. He's like, "Oh, that's a just count." And I'm like, "Okay, go away, Saywan."
It's pretty
We love
funny.
you. We love
But-
you. It's pretty funny. But it's a fantastic game, and I don't even think it got really recognized. So it's like these little games. I think they deserve to get recognition as well.
Mhm. But
They do a really good
speaking
job. Anyway.
of death count, Saw
Saw 11.
11 confirmed.
Have you seen
This
every
franchise
single
needs to go
movie
away.
Graveyard in this series?
Yes, I just did a 3-part series on the podcast for October.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that.
Watch
I just
them.
didn't know if you'd seen every single one. That's commitment, dude.
It's something. It's crazy.
I mean, it's like Halloween. It will never go away.
It will never die.
So, I mean, so I'll just kind of go first here. Saw X did the amazing work of for spoilers alert for John Kramer, Tobin Bell's character. He had more screen time in this movie than the previous 9 combined because he was just kind of snippets. He's only in maybe 20 minutes at most in some of these movies.
As Jigsaw, right? This is Jigsaw.
Yeah. Now, granted, spoiler alert, he died in number 4. So there's that. Technically he died number 3. Then we saw his wing in number 4 as he being autopsy. But Saw X is technically Saw 1.5.
Right.
I think I did a short little review on this channel when Saw X came out.
You did.
And like I said, it's no wonder they're doing Saw 11, and it is that franchise that has everyone except Spiral with Chris Rock has been in theaters. So it is essentially, I'm just waiting for Jigsaw to go to space at this point in time because that is the ultimate one. We've already had the final one, and that was number 7.
Right.
So it's interesting to see how long they're going to continue this. If they're going to continue to have people play their same age of themselves 20 years ago in today's world, I'm sorry. I don't care, male or female. 20 years ago, you looked a lot different. Unless you Keanu Reeves or Paul Rudd, you looked a lot different. Yeah, 20 years ago than you do now. You shouldn't have. I understand they want the original cast, stuff like that. Tobin Bell is 80 years old. Shawnee Smith is in her 50s at this point in time. You do not look the same as you did in your 30s and 60s, regardless of who you are. So it's interesting to see where this goes. Like this, I don't think they should have killed off Jigsaw in number 3 if they're in number 11 at this point in time.
Yeah,
I mean, there are
has it
Stone Age, though.
Has it jumped the Saw?
Yes, it did. Number
3. Okay.
Absolutely.
Your reaction, though. Oh well, yeah, of course it did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they are. They've gotten worse as the series has continued.
That's fantastic.
So I mean, Fray, are you going to see this?
No, because I saw the first one and that was it. I don't need to see the rest of them.
You saw Saw?
I saw Saw.
You saw Saw.
I seen Saw.
There you go.
That's really it for me. I don't really have anything else to say.
Okay, Captain.
I've not seen any of these. I will not see any of these. Because torture porn just isn't my thing, guys. Just isn't. I saw it was basically torture porn. I'm like, yeah, no, I've seen this too many times. No thanks. I'm out.
Yeah,
I can't do torture porn. I just can't do it.
Realistically, the first one was not torture porn. It was more psychological thriller. There's very few deaths, very little blood, very little traps. It was a whodunit with a big twist.
Well, then I will watch the first one. We can, I don't know, like in our many lists of movies to be watched, I will watch Saw 1 and tell you what I think of it then.
Yeah, my wife stopped watching it after number 2. Because she can't do the torture porn either.
Yeah.
So
no, we're gonna porn it, and now it's torture porn. Yay!
Exactly. So I mean, like I said, we'll review it when it comes out. I'm gonna have to see it because I do catch up episodes of franchises I've already reviewed and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting.
I like that Distance Nerding said that it was the plan to like end it, but that the studio's like, no, we can do more. Let's do more.
I'll keep making money.
That's kind of true. I think that is something. There's something to that. I think that happens a lot, and that's why the quality starts going downhill after a certain point.
Yeah. So,
but that is a perfect segue to quality going downhill.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Oh no.
Of Captain's Log.
Captain's Log. Oh yeah. Let me go get into my captain.
The Insidious Red Door.
Yes.
I've said my piece in the past. I want to hear what you think.
Hold on, let me go get my captain's chair here. All right. Here we go. Captain's Log. So I actually wrote out this partially. I was up way too late writing this. So we have the new installment of the Insidious. Yes, I'm talking about the Insidious series. We actually discussed this movie when the trailer was released for the Red Door. So I finally got to watch the movie. I think it was like this last week. It was probably Monday or Tuesday when I sat down and watched it. And it's got some really great moments. I actually really like it. I liked it overall. It's some parts are like kind of meh, I might have to watch it again. But I'll just go into a bit of it. I'm going to go into a little of the plot just because of like the way that these movies are set up. I'm pleasantly surprised by this series. I keep being pleasantly surprised. It's actually a great series. So the script is actually written by Lee Winnell, and he was an up-and-coming actor, and he's been a writer for the last few years. But he was born in 1979, and that's according to his IMDb page. And he's been an actor for a long time. And he met James Wan, the director of Insidious 1 and 2, at the age of 18. And that's how it kind of got started. They became friends when he was very young, and got him into other parts, and so they've been working together for a long time. But this is what they came out in 2010 was Insidious 1, which is really a slow burn of a horror movie. I don't know what you guys think about that, but about it in there, but it's one of those very slow burn things happen at a very, at least in Insidious 1, at a very slow pace. I watched it earlier this year again. And I'm like, wow, almost nothing happens for at least like the first half of the movie. And then subtle things start happening, and it starts ramping up towards the end. But it's very slow burn, which I'm okay with. I'm not angry at slow burn movies. But I saw Insidious 2 first. I did not see the Insidious 1. I actually saw Insidious 2. It was a sequel to another movie called Shudder. I had to go look it up because I was like, what movie was that? And I honestly thought that it was the sequel to that movie. Pretty certain it's Shudder. It might have been a different one. But so it really picks up at the end of season. Oh my gosh, see, brain. It really picks up in number 2 though, and it just builds and builds off of that. So Lee Winnell, he wrote the script. He's actually acts in both 1 and all of them, and all the franchise thus far. He's acted in all 5 of the movies. There's 5 of them now. And he directed the 3rd chapter, interestingly enough. So let's talk the plot of like the Insidious, of where like it begins and how it goes, and then we'll lead into the Red Door. So Insidious is about the Lambert family that moves into this new house, and Josh, who's played by Patrick Wilson. Funny enough, Patrick Wilson actually directed the Red Door in this last summit, so he's actually the director for the newest film. You have his wife, who is Raina, and then you have the 3 children. Was it Ranny? I don't remember how it's pronounced. Whatever. You got Dalton, Foster, and Collie.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you have all these strange things happening in the house. And you don't know why they're happening in the house. And it just starts out, they think it's an intruder, and you think it's an intruder. The lights keep going on, they flash on, they have the door open, the alarms go off, that kind of thing. Again, it's all very slow burn. And then it gets to the last half or the last third of the movie. Well, okay, before that, sorry. I even wrote this all out as a script form, and I'm failing terribly at this. So midway through all these strange things happening, Dalton, their oldest child, goes into a coma. And then it just starts ramping up even more from there. Dark shadows are being seen. You've got these entities that are appearing everywhere. You got even more crazy stuff. So it's like your ghost story. And then just as more chaos keeps happening, and the father, Josh, doesn't know what's happening or going on. And then he finds out his mother's been keeping a secret from him for the last 10 years. Turns out that they find out that Dalton actually is astral traveling. And why he's in a coma is because he can't find his way back to his body. He's lost in a place called the Further, which is this in-between place, or this place that's like for lost or tortured souls. And it's those where like, and people are attracted to the living entities that still have a body, and they'll either want to jump into the body, or they are attracted to that life, and they try to keep it there. Kind of like Poltergeist, actually. It's very very in that kind of way. It's a little bit like Poltergeist. And so instead of the mother going into this in between place, you've got Josh. Anyways, so Lorraine is played by Josh's mother, who's played by the lovely Barbara Hershey, who just passed away this year, unfortunately. She contacts a psychic that she knew 30 years prior when Josh was a boy. They haven't spoken since then. And her name is Elise, and she calls her in, and she's the one who basically tells him what's happening, which is, hey, we did a thing to protect you, to make you forget that you could do this. Don't know why, but hey, I get it. Maybe it was because it was the 80s, it was the Manic Panic or whatever. It's something to protect the kid, from having these terrible things happening to him or whatever. So, or anyways, we'll go into that for the Red Door. But so this paranormal team comes with Elise, which is Tucker and Specs. And Specs is played by Lee Winnall, who is the writer and director of the 3rd film. So, anyways, so Josh has to go into the Further to find Dalton. And the reason why it's Josh and not Elise is like, there's this very powerful entity that's being attracted to you. I don't think I can fight him. I don't think I can face him myself, but I need to be, I'm going to have to distract him while you go get Dalton, basically. And so she gives like Josh this like rundown, and this very quick rundown of how to do it, where you have to go, and how you're going to find Dalton in this in the Further. And so the movie ends pretty much right as Josh and Dalton come back. They don't really give you a lot about what happened in the Further, but he basically finds Dalton and leads him back to his own body. And then when Josh wakes up, he finds Elise dead. And that is where basically the first one ends. So it's like this ramp up, everything comes to a close. And it's interesting. It's a really interesting movie in the way that they do the storytelling. You know there's going to be a second movie coming up. I did not know that at the time, but so I stepped into this in Insidious 2. So after like Josh gets back to his body and finds Elise, she or he like they have this whole wake for Elise and all that. And it seems like everything's gone back to normal. But is it? It isn't actually, because there's still an entity in the house that is, still opening doors, making alarms go off, playing the piano, because Raina is a composer. And over time in the movie, now Insidious 2 I think is the best in the franchise. I don't know, maybe you might disagree with me there, Graveyard. I think it's honestly the best one. But they find out that Josh isn't actually Josh. It's another entity who has taken over Josh's body. And this entity is being controlled by another one. It's kind of what I got from them. You have to go and watch it again. But by another one called the Mother Death. And it's not exactly clear if Mother Death is actually the great and evil, and the son entity is like the being controlled, or if they are the same person. I was never really clear on that. But they go through and so this entity who is taking over starts to act erratically, obviously, and it turns out he's a serial killer in real life, or in his life. And so Raina and Lorraine have to basically figure this out. They go on like this journey to find out about this entity, about the person. They find out that this person was a serial killer. Anyways, it culminates to the entity inside Josh basically attacks them in their own house, and they have to run and barricade themselves in the basement. And there's this whole Stephen King The Shining moment where Patrick Wilson's character, who's being the entity who's taken over, possessed, is like smashing through a door with an axe. It's really interesting. It's like there's a bunch of homages to a lot of older 80s horror movies, which is kind of funny. And anyway, so Dalton actually is like, it kind of goes full circle, and Dalton's like, hey, I'm gonna go into the further and get Dad. I'm gonna go find him to save the whole family. So he's met with Elise, and Elise kind of gives him a light and tells him to go find Father, which he does. And then they get the other entity out. Meanwhile, there's this whole with Josh and the other entity. There's this whole there's a revealing that this guy's a serial killer, and they have this their own thing. And then Dalton finds Josh, and he gets him out of his own body. Then at the very end, you have this old friend of Elise and Lorraine's named Carl, who comes to the house, who's at the house as well. And he makes both Dalton and Josh forget. And that ends the 2-part movie. It feels very complete that way. So then you have chapter 3, which is chapter 3 and the next 2 installments of the movie, of the franchise. They're not really sequels. They're more like prequels, where it's like one is like a prequel, it's like 0.5, and then the other one's like the actual prequel, which is like, it's just called The Last Key. And those are centered around the psychic Elise before she dies. And so they're both good, but I think the 3rd chapter is probably the most forgettable. And then you have The Last Key, which I actually really enjoyed. I found that one much more memorable. So now we're getting to the Red Door. All of us to say this is getting to the actual, nerd out here thing about the Red Door, which is the newest installment. And it's 9 years have passed since the incidents in Insidious 2. The movie starts at a funeral, and it's Lorraine's funeral, because she passed away. And I think that's actually like a tribute to Barbara Hershey, because she had just recently passed away before this. I think she passed away earlier this year. I think it was like May or June. She actually passed away. So it was kind of a sweet little tribute to her. And Dalton is now a teenager. He's now 18. He just turned 18, or he had just graduated high school. Now he's going to this prestigious art school because he's this very gifted artist. And there's been like this huge rift that's in the family since the events of Insidious 2. Josh hasn't really been himself. He kind of feels foggy. Like he just hasn't really been present feels like something's missing. Interesting. But it basically tears the family apart.
That's adulthood, my dude.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but it actually tears the family apart, and he and Raina are like in the midst of or separation or divorce. They're either been divorced, or they're in the middle of getting divorced. And it's not like they don't love each other. It's just that he just hasn't really been present, hasn't really been there. And same with, Josh with Dalton, with the kids, including Foster and Callie. But anyway, so he's trying to make it all work out. Like Dalton's angry at him, it's this whole like rift of the family unit. And so Dalton, he just tried to get his way in his own adulthood. So anyways, he during the process of being in this really prestigious art school, meets his teacher, who kind of says, go back to this memory in your mind, like, kind of drift off to his almost trance-like state and draw what you see at this moment. And it accidentally it starts unlocking the memories that he has inside him. So this is kind of from Dalton's perspective. It's almost like a passing of the torch, but not really. And so Dalton now starts to explore his own powers, and it's very Sixth Sense. That's kind of what I got in some of these moments. It's like he is starting to see ghosts. He's starting, just like his father did for him, and starting to like accidentally travel into the further. And he's trying to figure out what's going on and why this is happening, basically. And so I don't want to like spoil all of the ending, but basically Dalton has a moment where he gets trapped, and Josh has to come and rescue him again. And then there's also this thing where Josh is also, coming to terms with how he's drifting apart is very parallel to his father leaving and disappearing when he was very young. And then he's visited by a ghost who basically kind of knocks him into finding these pictures, and turns out that this disturbed ghost that he's seeing is actually his own father, Ben, who his mother had told him for years and years, had just left them. And turns out he had been institutionalized in the early 80s or early 70s, when Josh was basically born, because he was having a lot of these same experiences. So it turns out it's like passed down through the sons. And this gift, or this curse, if you want to call it. And so has to go through his own healing journey while he's going through that healing journey with Dalton. Now there's some really interesting and neat cinematography, truly beautiful moments. I think the way that the Red Door is really about Dalton unlocking this memory and drawing the red door. He's using his abilities at art to draw him into the further. I think it's a really interesting idea, and I wish they had used, one thing I'll say overall in this movie, I wish they leaned into that just a little more. But so anyway, so they go through this whole thing, and Josh finds out about Elise. Not Josh, I'm sorry. Dalton finds out about Elise, and she talks about going into the further and how it's a dangerous place to go into. And she explains, that the entities that live there are drawn by the living and all this. And it's kind of some fear mongering, in my opinion, or whatever. It's a movie. Okay. So anyways, So they have this whole end set up. Dalton gets trapped in the further, and Josh has to go rescue him again. And there's some cool little moments in that. And then it culminates and both of them come back and they are themselves. And like Josh finally feels like well, while he's in the further, he actually has this very healing moment with his father. He helps him to pass on and, you know, kind of heals that rift between him and Dalton as well. And then basically the ending is kind of like, I just feel like this is a setup for another movie. Surprise, surprise, because it's a franchise. That's rhymes. So overall, my impressions of it is it feels more setup, like how Insidious 1 was a setup for Insidious 2. That's how I feel about this movie. I do think that there are some really beautifully shot moments. I think it's actually really creative overall. But there are some moments where I'm like, meh. Would I give it still a good watch? Would I watch it again? Probably. I'm planning to go through again this whole. Yeah, sorry, spoilers, everyone. I am planning on going through this whole like franchise again just to see how the movies, like how they go in. I think the weakest one in the whole franchise actually is the one that Lee Winnall directed, which is Chapter 3. It's not a bad movie. It just feels the most disjointed out of all the movies. Whereas The Last Key, I thought was one of the better. I think it's actually better than Insidious 1. Insidious 2 is the best, in my opinion. But I really do like The Last Key because it really tells you it's Elisa's journey, and it talks about how she comes to terms with all these things that are happening before she goes to help Josh. And she's actually in the Red Door, and it just seems like the whole ending is this setup for the next movie. I think it's going to be 2 more movies, personally. After watching all of them, I think there's still going to be another movie that's going to like firmly get them into more of that lore and more of finding out about that history or why they're able to have these abilities. And then there'll be this final chapter, and I think that'll probably be it for the franchise. That's my prediction of it, but that is my take on the Red Door. I think it's really interesting. I wonder if they'll get James Wan to come, or Lee Winnall will talk James Wan to doing more of the series, or if we'll get Patrick Wilson to do more of the directing. I like some of his direction. I think some of it is that he's still learning how to direct to where like it'll be like signaturely his direction style. So do I think it's a bad movie? No. I do think it's as far as it being the 5th movie in the franchise, it's actually pretty good. So that is my take on the Captain's Log of the Red Door and Insidious as a whole. And now that I've lost all of our audience, I'll take it back to you.
So it said that Family Story is done, and Threads, the first spinoff, comes out in 2024.
Oh,
wait, which one? What does?
Threads. It's a spinoff.
Oh,
they already planned it. They said this was the conclusion chapter of the family.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And that's why the post credit scene changes it. Did you watch the post credit scene? It's no longer red. It's now black.
Oh,
right. Well, yes,
the door is done.
The door is. I mean, yeah. The way that they defeat the red door, the way they defeat the door is kind of interesting. But you know, Dalton paints that red door black. Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
I want it painted black.
Right.
So, yeah, I have very strong opinions about this franchise.
I would like to hear about your opinions about this franchise.
Well, in July we did an entire series on the podcast, and the language used is not appropriate for this channel.
Did you just basically write off? Did you go screw you and the horse you rode in on?
I mean, I agree. Insidious 2 was the best one of the 5 movies. Still got a failing grade. And because, well, there's 5 movies and there's 1 on-screen death. That's it. Just 1.
Torture porn. I mean, what? No.
What? Sorry. Say that
So-
last part one more time. I apologize.
There's only one death on screen
There is only one death.
in
Yeah.
5 movies.
Yeah.
So we call it
Because
jump
it's
scare the
death.
movie.
Jump scare.
I didn't feel like it had that many jump scares. I just felt like it was very much like Poltergeist. It had a lot of like these. It almost okay. So I will say that one of the things I forgot to say is that they almost went to trope land. Like
Mhm.
it does feel very 80s, as like a lot of these older movie, like they go in that fine line between the tropes of these movies. They almost go there, but they don't quite go to that place. I do think they kind of either twist a little bit of those tropes, so because they have like the psychic trope, they've got the, they have the kid with powers trope, they've got the dad, that almost absentee father trope, they have the possession trope almost, but they just kind of skew just enough to where it's not exactly on that same trope. It's creative enough, and they do kind of have the jump scares, but it's also that slow burn, like unreality. It's like Silent Hill-ish, like reality bending in a way, because you kind of get lulled in this sense of security, and then it kind of rips it up away from you. I don't think the Red Door is quite like that, but Insidious 1 and 2 are definitely that way.
Yeah.
So
I have no thoughts. I haven't seen any of it.
Right.
they would be right up your alley, actually, Fray, because they're not like torture porny. They're not.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
They're not necessarily scary, but they're really interesting.
I do like Patrick Wilson too. He's a good kid.
He's good.
So.
I like his stuff.
And
like
I can call him a kid.
Are you sitting like near your age now, actually?
I'm immortal, so.
That's true. You are immortal.
I get to call everybody kid. You don't know how old I am. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
So
yes,
that
thank you,
concludes the captain's log.
All right. Well, thank you again for another Captain's Log. And it's time for the end of the show. So let's give our pluggables. We'll start with you, Captain.
Yes. I am the Captain Lady Moon. I am here way too often on this channel. I am here 4-5 days a week. Sometimes 6. Way too much. You can find me here, or you can take a look at all my music on Spotify. And I will be doing some projects. I'm actually in some acting projects this year. It's great.
Yay.
So you'll be able to find me there later this next year.
Yay, look at that.
That's a thing. That's where you'll find me, is mostly here at the moment.
All right. Thank you. Fray.
Hello. So I am a little bit of everywhere, I guess. I'm here on Saturdays. I do Thursday nights, the ladies in a queen night or queen's night. We're still I think we're gonna go queen's night. Yeah, and so I do that on Thursday, I do this on Saturday. On Distance Nerding, I'm there on Tuesdays for the download. We are doing a holiday office party style download. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I also have my own channel where we do a couple of shows there. I've got Classified, and that's where we take your favorite fandoms and classify them into Dungeons and Dragons classes. We've done like the John Carpenter's The Thing, which was really fun. And we've done Doctor Who, we did Loki season 1. We are toying with the idea of doing Barbie for our next season. So who knows what'll happen. I see a lot of
haven't done Star Trek
as warriors.
D&D class yet?
So we did Star Trek and then lost half the video, so we have to record it again. So we did Star Trek the original series and then lost like half of it. So we'll record that again. We're gonna actually put that on next season. We did Bad Batch too.
Kirk's definitely multi-class.
Yeah. There we had some where we were like, really? Maybe not. Anyway, so we do that, and then we do journals of the classes, which actually tells you about each class and all of the subclasses, so that if you aren't familiar with the Dungeons and Dragons classes and you're like a big nerd like me and just like all the fandoms, then you get you can actually watch that whole series and kind of catch up on that. So we're doing those. Next year, I plan on doing another one called Herstory by Fray, and it's going to be all the female influences that I've had in my life, and also like characters that I love, and like females that I like, look up to. So who knows? Maybe Elizabeth Woodville will be in it. I doubt it, but she might be. She's kind of important. And yeah, so that's really it. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Fray. In our graveyard, you can find me here 2 to 3 to 4 days a week over here at Kyber Cave. You can see me helping interview people while Phil builds Legos or distance learning on Thursdays. You will see me on the holiday party episode on Tuesday, a rare appearance by me on the build, where I will try not to be throwing up on screen on the download.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, that one too. And you can see Pod Out Night, mostly podcasts. You can find every new episode over at comicconradio.com, along with our sister channel, Distance Learning. You can find me on all social media at Pod Out at Night. Make sure to check it out. We have new posts. We have a new show called Conversations of Void, where I interview people in the horror world and just have an absolute blast. That's on our YouTube channel, Pod Out at Night. And hopefully coming this year, you will soon see me in a movie on Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's coming to Amazon Prime, so make sure to check it out. And I have filmed a couple of scenes for new movies coming out in 2024. New stuff coming out as well, and prepping and planning for all that stuff. And the new show that we are doing a pilot episode, filming relatively in the next couple of months. So make sure to check it out. By intros and audio video work by our one and only Mezzo, audio by Captain herself.
Yay!
Yes. So on behalf of everyone here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe on this video. We are less than 40 subscribers away from giving away a new lightsaber. So make sure to share this out. And the more subs you get, the more chances for swag you have to win. And go make sure to join our Patreon just for as little as $1 a month. You can help support our show. And you get entered to win free swag and all that stuff. And the higher tier you are, on Captain's birthday, we give away a lightsaber and a couple lightsabers to the highest tier members of our Patreon. So make sure to check that out. And go over to kybercave.com, get yourself a lightsaber. They're awesome. They're great. And check out all the fonts by Fours himself to get put onto your lightsaber from Kyber Cave. And
we also have merch. Don't forget merch.
We do have merch, people. KCPmerch.com, where we have new merch coming out. I'm assuming we have new order merch coming out as well at some point.
We do. Yeah, we're working on the teaser, and then we're going to be having the new order, the show coming out. Yeah, it's a lot of pre-production, post-production stuff going on. So it's happening though. It's almost ready. I swear it's almost ready. But it's just, it's a good culmination. We were gonna record the second episode, the second part of the pilot basically last night, but a few people were not feeling well, so we have to go and do that. I was gonna do it if you were gonna be there, Fray. I was gonna just go through it, but since you and that's where we're both gone, I'm like, I need both. I need one.
I need some of that feminine energy.
I kind of need you guys there. No, not because of that, just because of the setup of all of it. So I had plans and
plans and things and stuff and things.
They all go to waste. So I'm really excited for this next part of the pilot though. So I'm super excited to get to recording it. Anyways, it's happening, guys. It is happening. I swear. It's very high level production, so it's just a lot of work. Unfortunately, it's a lot more work than I was anticipating when we started this whole journey a year ago into doing it. But yeah, that's basically it. So
yes, so make sure to hit that subscribe, turn on notifications so you're notified of all new episodes of all the new shows we have coming out this week. And we'll see you.
Wait a minute, let's put an emoji. Let's have people put emojis. Put emojis, just comment
here at the very end. Please comment, put emojis.
Yeah, comment. Just do an actual comment. I like comment. And let's do emojis. Let's think about emoji. Let's do red doors. Red doors. Or a door.
Yes. Or red. Yes. Something red color and the door. I know that exists.
There we go. Red color and a door. That would be awesome.
Red color and a door.
And we'll like them all. We'll go through and we'll like every single one of them. You put a comment on there, we will like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so stay tuned for tomorrow night's Saber Rattle. Until then, we'll see you. Bye.
Stay nerd positive, everybody.